So, hey guys, welcome back on board with me, Silverbird Actual. Today we're back in FSX if, the screen capture software decides it wants to actually capture FSX for a change, which it just has decided it wants to do. So, as you can see, we're on the ground at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, Schiphol, whatever you want to call it. We're in the Boeing 737-700, courtesy of PMDG, that's Precision Manual Design Group. Taxi out, it's pretty simple today. That's actually the apron this flight would normally leave from, IRL. We're going to that runway up there, taking off, woomph, out that way. Happy days. For some reason the sim decided it wants to be paused. I'm going to have to very quickly freeze what you guys are seeing and uncheck the pause on task switch. It changes to pausing on task switch every single time I actually reboot the sim. So, route, as I said, it's EHAM, Electronic Ham, to Echo Golf, November Tango. Back home to EGNT. Okay, we'll just quickly look at the route. Departures out of Amsterdam. So actually, wants us to depart from runway 18 left, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer taxi out than I think. It's still not too crazy of a taxi out. And we're departing on the Bergy to Echo, towards a place called Bergy. As I said, activate, execute, route, second page. After Bergy, we are off to onto the UL 602 to a place called Supper, or Supper. That's probably what it's called. Which is just off the Norfolk coast. After that, it's the Uniform Papa 1 to Goros. After the Uniform Papa 1, we're off onto the Uniform Mike November 81 to a place called. That was 1, not 7. 1. To Nateb. Or Nateb, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to execute that. Now go back to FS Actions and Payload. I'll actually just click random twice. Want more than 7 passengers on board. Come on, we're not that unpopular. KLM, for God's sakes. There we go. That's a nicer kind of number. Fuel, we need 10 tons of fuel on board for this flight. Reason being, the fuel's apparently quite expensive in Newcastle, so we're going to tank some fuel to allow the crew to take the aircraft back safely. Actually, no, so it was 5 tons. We'll take half the amount. There we go. That's everything done in terms of that. What we actually do need to do before we end up pushing out is heading Inish Ref. Double click. Reserves are at 2.5. Cost index is at 85. Cruise flight level is actually flight level 380 on this trip. Transition altitude in the departure is 2000. Then we're going to do descent, forecast, flight level 050 is transition altitude there, and I'll change that very fast. So, N1 limit, we can actually go for a 22k D rate, which is the biggest D rate we can go for, climb 2 D rate, flaps 1 for the takeoff, centre of gravity set, there we go. And V1 and VR are very close together because we are departing very, very slowly today. Now, progress, as you can see, we'll be landing in Newcastle with about 3 tons of fuel on board, which is about nice. So, I'm just going to get rid of that. And, for some reason, no, it's not the tax light. The tax light isn't on. But what we can do is wait a little while because we need to actually get the passengers on board. So, whilst the boarding's underway, and we can open the doors for the boarding, because that was under oversight of me. And we'll take, obviously it's KLM because we are in Holland. We can open left 1 and left 2 and cargo 1 and cargo 2 because annoyingly you can't use AES outside of FSX box, and it seems, yeah, and I'm obviously in Steam Edition at the minute, so we're going to wait a little while for the passengers to get on board. We're back. Unfortunately, boarding takes ages at Amsterdam because apparently the vehicle spawn point's miles away for the baggage, so the baggage has got to come like miles across the aerodrome to get to us. As I said, we're flying in offline mode today, but before the bags get to us, we can push a few buttons to start getting us ready. So we are actually on APU right now, so we should have forward left fuel pump on. We can pressurize Bravo hydraulics and pressurize Alpha. pitot heats can come on to start warming those. It's quite a cool day. We can actually just switch all the fuel pumps on now. Looking down here, nav lights, they're on because that's steady, strobe and steady is only moved once we're entering the runway. Ignition system, we can use the left hand side today. Now we can take packs off in preparation for the engine start. We'll be starting engine number 2 first, so we'll leave the cross speed open. Our flight altitude, as we said, is flight level 380. Our landing altitude is 290, so 300 is the closest altitude. Next, of course, is seatbelt signs, so they can go to the on position. We can put the chime down. Here are the bags, so they'll be done very, very shortly. Passengers are already on board, so we're keeping the doors open just to keep fresh air in the cabin. As you can see, we are at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport today. 18 left, I believe, is the runway over there. We can head over in that general direction and we can find the runway using a combination of charts. I'm actually going to just say I want to depart from, because I'm not, the way the winds are right now, they're east-west, so I'm going to say 24, which is the runway we're sitting next to, and then we can just do a Bergie 1 Sierra, which makes me a lot happier, and we can go back to doing takeoff speeds. And it's the same takeoff speeds, but it's just a slightly different runway, so I'm happy with that. Also, we can drop this down a bit. I don't want the floods on, but I like having this sort of backlighting because it just makes the ambience a lot nicer within the flight deck. And looking down here, I'll switch the backlighting on these, and I'll go up here. I'll switch the backlighting on these. As I said, just the backlighting makes them a lot easier to read. I actually sometimes have the backlighting on even during the day if I'm flying into the sun. It just makes it so much easier to read what the gauges say. Also, we need to do takeoff bugs whilst the bags are getting on board. So V2's 127, whoops, went a bit past it there. Boarding's complete, which is awesome, so I can just say we're quite prepared for push and departure. Nose to the left, tail to the right. No, we can set engines during the push out. I'll just quickly get the doors closed. As I say, we'll actually go all the way up. We'll bug initial altitude actually of 2,000, with 2,500 is about a nice one to bug. We can flight directors on my side because mine's massive because I'm flying, and then heading bug will go to runway heading as we're entering. I'll just check what the runway heading actually is. Crumbs went the wrong way. It's either this aircraft or the 777 that tells you it's this aircraft heading 238 degrees. Exactly the same heading as we're on now actually. Remove wheel chocks is what it wants me to do, so I need to set the parking brake. Okay, ground, you're clear to remove the chocks. And that's chocks out. Okay, and we can on VNav and LNav after departure. And I can then on the auto throttle. I'm just going to pull the joystick around so I can actually use it. And starting number 2. Just hit engines on this side. So what we're looking to see is, I'm just going to confirm the packs are actually off. Yes, they are. Is 18%. Ven 2 on there, which we have got in 3, 2, 1 now. We'll just start that engine up and allow it to start. I'll also set flaps 1, flaps 2, flaps 5, which will just mean that that starts releasing as we're pushing back, and as the hydraulic pressurizer to start lowering the flap. Okay. Now just wait for the starter to cut out. Once the start valve open light extinguishes, it's the starter cut out. Also, managed to forget to put the anti-collision lights on. Well done me. They still don't appear to be on. Yeah. Beyond the last flight we did, we actually arrived, just swing around, but I think we were actually on the end over that way. So it's not, haven't actually travelled that far since we arrived from New York. Okay, so that's number 2 started. I can then just transfer generator, and I can start the number 2 bleed down supply. The system's open, so we can get a better pressurization on number 1 side. Starting engine number 1. %, fuel on, and just setting the parking brake. Now, whilst we'll wait for the engine to start, and then we'll do a quick flight control check, and we'll be on our merry way. Again, we're just waiting for the engine to increase. We've got a little while to wait for the baggage handler to get himself out of here. He'll disappear off that way. You can actually transfer the generator to the number 1 before it's actually started fully, which is weird in my opinion. I make sure. But that is start the cutout. So we can then swing both ignitions to continuous. Now that he's disappeared, taxi lights can come on, so can the turn-offs. Bleeds can come on number 1. Packs can come on. Heats can come on. Window heats they're already on. Yaw damper, that's on. Hydraulics there all on. Power's been taken over by the generators, so the APU comes to the off position. APU bleed comes off, that goes to auto. And he is clear. We've received the hand signal, we can just see his arm there. So we can taxi off. Actually no, we said we'd be doing a flight control check, didn't we? Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry if I hit the microphone. So, full left, neutral. Full right, neutral. Full back, full forward, neutral. Full left rudder, neutral. Full right rudder, neutral. Full right rudder. There we go. Yeah, I didn't just deflect it fully by the looks of things, or that the system wasn't built up quite enough. So we'll just put a little bit of power on. And at the end, I'm going to turn left. Now taxi checks are going to be auto brakes RTO, toe brakes. That works. It's a left turn here. So we've done everything there is to do for prior to us getting to the hold short point. Now at this stage we'd stop talking to ramp and we'd be talking to ground control, but we're not talking to ATC today, so that is all good. So as they're turning left, just checking that there's nobody kind of infringing on us. Again, as I said, we're flying by ourselves in the game this evening, so there is nobody who should infringe upon us, but you never know. It is FSX AI after all. So we're going to take the next right, and then we'll enter, not from the end, because we are fairly light for this departure. I'm just going to check QNH is set correctly. So we'll enter from this, from the next turn in. So actually, yeah, I'm going to wait until we're. Actually, we can. No, that's a turn off. So we will have to enter from the next one. That turn off will be there primarily if somebody realises once they're at the runway that they can't take off. So that then that's just to get them off the runway that little bit quicker. We'll enter from the high speed hold. Actually, no, we'll go next one. No, we'll go this one. I've changed my mind. I'll put my foot down and going in from this one. So, keep an eye out for the hold short point, which is just after this bend. So what I can do now is just stop the aircraft, switch the system screen off, auto brakes set RTO, clear for takeoff, so those lights come on, transponder goes to TA and RA, continuous and continuous, logo light is getting dark so we can turn that on now, strobe light goes on as well now. So we are clear on the approach. Let's enter. See the reflections of the strobe as well, which is Service Pack 1D of the NJ thing. So it's going to be a rolling departure today, which I'll talk you through as we do it. We aim to do a rolling departure just because with the nature of a jet engine, if you ramp it up highly whilst you're stationary, you're more likely to ingest gravel and horrible things like that into it and damage it. So thrust's 40% now, roughly 40%, that's stable. So I'm going to advance the throttle levers and hit Control Shift and G, which is toga. So toga set. 80 knots. V1, rotate. V2, positive right. Tapping the toe brakes, landing gear up. LNAV's now got lateral guidance, pitching up further. VNAV speed is armed also. So I'm just going to fly. I'm actually going to engage the autopilot now. Command A. After takeoff flows, off, off. The landing lights stay on at this stage. That can be reset because the fuel system's actually operating correctly for a change. And that's 2,000 feet. And we're just going to wait for the aircraft to accelerate a bit. In the meantime, we can have a look at just the overwing view. Oops, there we go. So that's Schiphol behind us there. A little bit turbulent. The aircraft's now. We've passed transition altitude, so we can go to standard. And we can now climb up. Hit altitude intervention, which is just behind that, and climb up straight to 38,000 feet. The cruise to Newcastle. That's a nice straight out climb. Now we can go. Ignitions can come off now. We haven't got a hood in this thing anyway. Bleeds are on. Bleeds are all configured correctly. That's actually going to go to closed now. And everything else can, well, that's can all remain as it is. We can wait for the aircraft to accelerate up. We'll wait till we're at 10,000 feet because I kind of feel as though I'm, cutting the video short if I wait until below 10,000. But we should be at 3,000 for EH. Yeah, I kind of feel bad now. VNAV, VNAV, VNAV. There we go. Alt intervention. If that goes off, no. Oh well. Lol. We'll just pretend we've been told to go high by ATC. A little bit of wind now picking up. So we'll just let the aircraft climb out now. It's accelerating. We can actually go flat plus, which we'll do before I... Whoa, wrong way. 2, 1, and away. So we're just going to clean the aircraft up completely. Transponders set, just kind of confirming that, and yeah. So I am going to end the video here, folks, and I'll see you all as we're approaching top of drop into Newcastle. See you then, folks. Bye.